The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, 60 minutes to go until the opening bell. And we have a pretty calm market to start things off. S&P's right now flat, trading at 34.44. Nasdaq Futures in the green, as is the case usually. Nasdaq up about 20 points, 11,745. We got some big earnings overnight, folks. The biggest of them all, it seems so far. Salesforce crushing it out of the park. They're up like 15% today after the bell as they look to their open. Dow Futures negative by 41 points, trading at 28,152. Oil down 16 cents at 43.19. Hurricane Laura looking to be a possible Category 4 when it makes landfall in the Gulf. These storms in the Gulf, they hit that warm water, and they just explode. We'll take a look at that in a moment. That could hit the oil market for sure, but nonetheless, today, holding steady just above $43. The 10-year yield, how about 0.718%? And as we speak, as we come on the air, you got U.S. durable good orders jumping 11.2% in July. The market, was only looking for a 4.3% increase. We'll start things off. Let's jump around to some of the indices. We'll start off with the S&P. You see the markets, they dive lower yesterday, but don't count out this market, folks. We reach a low of about 34.22, and then about noon Eastern time, you take off like a rocket ship. You finish about 22 points higher, 34.44, record territory. Excuse me, a little frog in my throat. The headline there, S&P futures flat after benchmark notches another record. We went over the durable goods, that coming out at 8:30. Nonetheless, the S&P trading higher. Mortgage demand, a headline this morning as well. Mortgage demand from home buyers spikes 33% annually, signaling no end to the summer spree. That housing market, folks, it is on fire. And we got to jump over to it. We'll start it off. Salesforce. Soars might almost be an understatement. Now, this story gives a headline at 4:15. You have to update it because, man, they started their conference call at about 5 p.m. Eastern time last night, and the stock just didn't stop, folks, going up. We'll get into the numbers. Earnings, how about $1.44 a share when the market was just looking for 67 cents? Revenue, $5.15 billion. Market was looking for $4.9 billion. The company saw a $617 million unrealized gain in the quarter through its stake in nCino, a company operating cloud-based software for banks that went public in July. They derive revenue from nCino's use of its services. Revenue from Core Sales Cloud, which enables salespeople and managers to keep track of business, totaled $1.28 billion, up 13% on an annualized basis. Now, of course, Salesforce just added to the Dow 2 days ago, so they came into last night up about 4%. And check out this stock, folks. CRM, okay? Look at this pop. So, yes, I mean, it's remarkable when you look Wednesday, you could have bought Salesforce for $205, and we might hit $250 today. Just stunning. You look at where they were last night. So the numbers come out. You trade up to about 240 to between 245. Conference call begins at about 5 o'clock. For the entire conference call, folks, it was even trading higher to about 245 this morning. We're up at 247. You're going to open about $31 higher on Salesforce this morning. For some context on where Salesforce has been for the COVID. Now, talk about having to bring this stock down. To find 250 on this chart, you're going to be right at about this level. Right here, folks, is where you're going to open on Salesforce this morning. From 115 on the market lows pre-COVID, you were still under 200 for Salesforce as they have accelerated higher in a big way. Almost can't overstate. I listen to the Salesforce conference call. I listen to conference calls occasionally, especially in stocks I'm interested in. We had a trade in this in CRM last night in Rocket Equities and Options. It ended up going well. We had a bull call spread, talking about almost a 400% gain. They don't always go like that, folks. They do not. They did last night. And so I'm listening to the conference call. Every analyst that came on the air, that came on the conference call to ask a question, they began their question by saying how simply amazed they were and congratulating the Salesforce team at just the bang out numbers, organic growth, margins across the board. Usually you don't see analysts talking like that, but you also don't see usually a stock trading up 15% on their earnings. So quite a number. All right, what else we got? We got Urban Outfitters. They're out with their numbers as well. Now, we're not factoring in. There's the pop on their numbers from about $21. We're up about almost 15% as well. You're up $3.70 right now on that stock, charging higher. We have Dick's Sporting Goods out as well. Was it DKS? Is that it? Where? Yeah, DKS. Charging higher as well. We're going to pull up the headlines across the board. But, man, some of these companies, the online numbers that they're putting up are just staggering, folks. If you were positioned correctly to be able to operate, whether it's a contactless order online, pick up at the store, let's just get into it because they crushed it in a big way. There's Dick's. Crushes Wall Street estimates, online sales surge 194%. Now, ironically myself, so net sales increased 20% to $2.71 billion from $2.26 billion a year ago. The expectation was only $2.46. Getting into some of the more of the numbers down here. Earnings per share, how about $3.21 versus $1.30 the market was looking for. Net income grew roughly 148% to $276 million compared with only $112 million a year ago. Excluding one-time charges, $3.21 a share. Market was looking for $1.30, as we said. Same-store sales, which tracks sales at stores open for at least a year, up 20.7%. The market was only looking for less than 10%. Let's see. Online sales skyrocketed nearly 200%. Represented 30% of the revenue, and they were only doing 12% of the revenue a year ago. Talk about accelerating, folks, in a huge way. Now, myself personally, what's ironic is that I have been to Dick's during this. Early on in the pandemic, actually, have been to Dick's during this. And I found it so easy, folks. You order online, you almost check in like you're picking up an Outback delivery, curbside check-in, they call it. You curbside check-in, they bring your package out, they bring it right to the window at your door. You don't even have to walk into the store. In a world where we're dealing with a pandemic, now things calming down a little bit in the U.S., calming down a little bit in Florida. We're down to about 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 cases a day in Florida, well off the peak of about 15,000 cases a day. Still dealing with a positive rate in Florida between about 5 to 7%. So not where you want to be, but calming down a lot. And when you were just set up to be able to fire off orders, contactless delivery, curbside check-in, you see the way things have accelerated for a company like Dick's in a big way. So you're up $5, more than 10% on their numbers today as they just crushed it out of the park. Urban Outfitters, jumping over to their numbers. Second quarter profits rebound sharply, pulling it in. Let's see, we'll get into it. Total company net sales for the 3 months decreased 16.5% over the same period last year. Comparable retail segment net sales decreased 13%, but they're dealing with a different category. A lot of numbers in here. For the 3 months ended July 30th, gross profit rate decreased. A lot of decreases there, but it all has to do with expectation, folks. That's their release. But when you get into the actual numbers, where are we? We'll pull it up, but nonetheless, they beat expectations, folks, in a big way. Checking in on the VIX this morning. How about a 21 handle, 2178. And don't forget, folks, we're going to talk about it after the break. Larry Pesavento, he's not doing his show today because he is live trading at 9 a.m. Check it out on the front page at TFNN.com. We'll be right back.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's hanging flat right now. Nasdaq Futures up 14, Dow negative 25. Oil, pretty muted response when you jump over. We'll take a look at that Hurricane Laura. Looks to be a dicey situation. Category 4, winds up to 130 miles an hour in the Gulf. Not what you want to see if you're in the path. Stay safe out there if you are in the path. The Gulf, it is a tough situation when those storms hit that Gulf water, that warm water, and just explode. But oil, nonetheless, we're talking about, where are we? We're trading down 15 cents at 43.20. You see the spike yesterday as kind of the world realized, the country realized that this storm was going to be a real deal. But talk about a quick muted response. From 43.57, you trade down 80 cents about yesterday, and we're just kind of hovering between about 43 and 43.50 since then. All right, I mentioned it, folks. Today, Larry Pesavento, 17 minutes from right now. He'll be kicking things off at 9 a.m. Live trading event all day today from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. So he skips out on the last 2 hours because in the first event he did, folks, he talked about last 2 hours of the day. Larry's not a big trader in the last 2 hours of the day. There's a lot of action in the first 5 hours. That's when he's most focused. That's when he's most capitalizing on the formations, the trading methodology he uses. He'll be in there at 9 a.m. You can sign up for that right now on the front page of TFNN. All 5 hours will be archived. So if you can't attend all 5 hours, you can always go back. You'll have access to that archive for as long as you want, folks. You can watch it as many times as you want. So get in there, check it out. You gain a month of his daily newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7. That's a $97 value. So that kicks it down to almost $200 for the 5-hour trading event. And if you're a current subscriber to Fibonacci 24/7, you get your next payment paid for. Same thing. Great deal out there, folks. Larry's going to be going over whether he's using ABCDs, best time to trade, the patterns, the 3 patterns that help identify shifts in supply and demand. Not talking about those ABCD patterns. Back-tested system useless unless you understand one simple rule. And he'll be in there, talking about everything that he does. Looking over his shoulder. I'm going to be in there myself. Larry will not be live at 9 a.m., obviously. We're going to have a replay, so no show at 9 a.m. Get in there for that 9 a.m. event with Larry Pesavento as he kicks things off in about 15 minutes from now. All right, so tomorrow we got a big event with Chairman Powell. He is going to be doing the Jackson Hole virtual event, and there's going to be a lot of focus on what they're talking about on inflation. In terms of being very worried that they need to make sure that inflation they're not so much worried about not inflation. They're worried about making sure that maybe they might even try and overshoot it if a problem. Tom, my dad, he sent me an article on Bloomberg today talking about that the Federal Reserve looks likely to keep short-term interest rates near zero for 5 years or possibly more after it adopts a new strategy for carrying out monetary policy. Okay, we're going to jump to two stories. I'm talking about one story here that was a Bloomberg article earlier today. Pulling it over, there's kind of the headline. Let's pull this up real quick. So the headline on Bloomberg, Fed seen holding rates to zero for 5 years plus in a new policy. And we're talking about the Federal Reserve looks likely to keep them for near 5 zeros. The new approach could be unveiled as soon as next month, likely to result in policymakers taking a more relaxed view toward inflation, even to the point of welcoming a modest temporary rise above their 2% target to make up for the past shortfalls. Fed Chairman Powell slated to provide an update on the Fed's year-and-a-half-old framework review of its policies and practices tomorrow at the bank's Jackson Hole conference held virtually. I wouldn't be surprised, now this is a quote from a former White House economist, I would not be surprised if interest rates are still zero 5 years from now. We're dealing with exceptional times, folks, exceptional times. Just at their June meeting, all 17 Fed policymakers projected that the Fed funds rate they target would remain near zero for this year and next. All but two saw rates staying at that level in 2022. Officials will provide updated quarterly forecasts at their meeting next month, including, for the first time, projections for 2023. So we'll keep our eye on that. You have the Kansas City Fed President, Esther George, out there talking about that she sees concerns about a double-dip recession should the coronavirus see a resurgence. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of this, right, the curve is coming down, but folks, it's August, okay? Viruses have trouble staying alive in the heat. That is why the flu accelerates during the cold winter months, okay? One of the biggest worries here is that we might get a tough flu season this year at the same time that we get a coronavirus resurgence. And if that happens, it's going to be a tough deal. I mean, the S&P right now, right? We notched a record territory yesterday, yet early in the week, and I'm not sure where we are on Wednesday, the last couple of days, but I'm sure it's pretty much the same. 1 out of 5 S&P companies are 50% away from where they were pre-COVID highs in February. It's a stunning statistic, but when you have companies like Apple even traded a little bit lower yesterday, okay, as the market reached higher, but Apple is above $500. They're a $2 trillion company. Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Google, Facebook. I mean, look at these companies, right? Microsoft, you're going to open higher $1 today. Let's see our man Elon. Where's he at? Tesla, 2,044. Quite the acceleration Tesla has had. Google shares, 1608. From a low of about 1577 yesterday. You put Google for some context on where it's been. A dive to 1,013. Google was only at about $1,500 pre-COVID, right? I mean, it is across the board, folks, that these technology stocks are skyrocketing. Checking out gold. Gold backing off a bit, continuing a little bit of a slide. Now, to put things in some context here, I have a couple, let me put this, see where, so, you know, there's a couple areas you can look at, right? The run that gold has had is just remarkable. I mean, you back it all the way up, and this might be too far of a backup because we've had some volatility during this time. But when you start talking about Fibonacci retracements, when you just went from $1,269 back on May of 2019, so you're talking only 15 months, folks, okay, up to 2,100. That would get you even just a 382 down to 1,733. Now, you take this off there, even if you start the run really at the COVID lows, okay, to the run of 2,100, you're still dealing with a 382 that's about $70 below where we're trading at right now. I mean, the run was just historic, folks, in terms of the acceleration that we had. Doesn't mean it's a change of trend in any way, but be careful of a little bit of volatility here. You see the volatility just this past week, even this morning, spiking to about 1908. We're up to 1915 right now in that gold contract. Now, notes and bonds. As I mentioned, we're dealing with, I'm pulling up the yield, the 10-year yield right now, 0.711%. The 10-year is off about 7 ticks at 139.03. You got the 30-year off about 27 ticks at 177.22. You put this on the daily. Now, I had mentioned this many times in my newsletter, many times on the show. we were hovering around this 139.22 high for a period of time. You spiked early in August to as high as about 140.12. We're off almost a full 1.5 now on that 10-year. We're almost at 139, well below that area of resistance on the high end. We're dealing with a 10-year yield of about 0.72%. Really interesting when you think about we're coming into Chairman Powell tomorrow. They might be talking about 0% interest rates for 5 years at a time that we have the S&P notching record prices for the last few days. We're at the S&P price that's 34.43. Pre-COVID, okay, you're talking about a price of only 3,400. So we're above that level, let alone that we've now risen almost 1,300 points from that market low. Stay tuned, folks. We come back, see what else we have on tap for earnings today and tomorrow and Friday. And don't forget about Larry, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, BAM! As well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archived workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
BAM!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Continuing the trend of companies with earnings crushing it out of the park. Intuit, the maker of TurboTax, out with their numbers last night, accelerating higher by the tune of about $20 as well. Intuit, $1.81 a share. The consensus estimate only $1.05. Revenue also above forecast. TurboTax, QuickBooks, and Mint saw an 83% sales surge, with activity picking up following the completion of a delayed tax season. nonetheless, a lot of companies. So we talked about Dick's. Apple, Wedbush raised their price to $600 from $515 on expectations of what it calls an iPhone 12 super cycle. There might already be some of this priced in, folks. I'm an Apple phone owner. I am waiting for the 5G phone to come out from Apple. There might be some of this priced in, so be a little wary. Nonetheless, if you're a long-term investor, Apple, they seem to be on the right path. Keurig Dr. Pepper gets an upgrade as well. KDP, checking out them this morning. There's your pop from $29.30 to about $29.87. Nordstrom's out with their numbers. This one, yeah, not what you want to see, folks. Nordstrom, I don't know how you do well in a Nordstrom where malls are shut down. They were already struggling. You trade from $15.50 down to $14.05 initially. You're at $14.75 this morning on their numbers. Roku got a coverage initiation by Citi with a buy, pointing to expectations of strong account growth as well as rising economic value per account. Now, here's what I don't understand, folks. I have plenty of Rokus in my house. I think I got 4 of them right now. And I don't plan to spend a single penny beyond the $40 I spent to buy a Roku stick, which is an awesome product for a streamer. But I don't know how they're making money off people nonetheless. Maybe you're buying things through there. Not sure, but Roku up about $4 on that. Toll Brothers trading higher as well. They're out with their numbers, beat estimates by 19 cents a share, quarterly earnings of 90 cents. Home builders revenue also exceeding forecasts. Orders surged more than 26% during the quarter, and they gave an upbeat forecast. Whoops. Come on. We'll wrap it up with Toll, T-O-L. There's Toll, 46.81 from 46.85. Checking in on some of those stocks we covered earlier. CRM up to about $2.47 this morning. Urban Outfitters up to $25. Stay tuned, folks. We got a replay. Go check out Larry's event on the front page of TFNN.com. It starts in 4 minutes. We'll be right back, folks.